something a little bit special. Making his way to the ring, the head of the Wrestlers Reunion, a man who has been involved in professional wrestling for longer than many men have been alive, Frank Reimer. This is the Parade of Legends. Let's hand it over to Frank.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, all of you. Very nice to see you. My name is Frank Reimer. British wrestling in this country has been in the doldrums for a few years, but it's back, and it's better than ever.
I'm really saddened to hear about the loss of Frank Reimer. Frank's been a friend to me for 15 plus years. I've known him when I first started out, when not many people gave me a chance. Frank was the person who gave me a chance in the wrestling business, mentored me and became a friend to me. And not only was he a friend to me, he's a friend to LDN Wrestling, to our wrestlers, and to many of the young wrestlers who are making their names up and down the country. To find out that he passed away recently was very saddening, and his legacy will continue on. What he's done, not just for the young generation, but helping people like Johnny Saint come out of retirement, Kendo Nagasaki, and so much more. The Wrestlers Reunion won't be the same, and I just want to say on a personal note, I'm very saddened to hear about Frank, and I send my condolences to his family.
And recently somebody asked me what the highlights of my long career was, and I answered 4 things. The first thing was seeing my own son Frankie turn professional and have his first bout, of course. The second thing was when I founded the DROPKIXX Wrestling Academy, which John Ritchie now owns, and that was helping people who have been bullied and medically challenged to get up in the ring, and even if they just did a 5-minute bout, to achieve what they couldn't do in normal life and what we take for granted.
Without Frank Reimer, there'd be no DROPKIXX. He was the founder, the forefather, and everything that came following that. People like Wade Barrett, Nick Aldis, they got their starts there. I was fortunate enough to take over from Frank after he left and after John Ritchie left, and a lot of the students now follow in the footsteps of the core principles that Frank taught. He'll be missed, we love him. Thank you, Frank Reimer.
The third thing was the awesome friendships that we make in this business. As you can gather here tonight, there is no other trade in this country that anyone can tell me where you can knock yourselves around every night of the week and stay friends for 50 years of your life, like I am with that man over there and Wayne Bridges, who wanted to be here tonight, and people like them. And our reunion, which has been going 19 years, reflects those friendships.
Frank brought me into the British Wrestlers Reunion in 2013, and I worked alongside him until his retirement in 2016. During his tenure at the reunion, Frank made it into an international event and made it one of the most respected reunions in the world. He was more concerned about making other people look good rather than taking the credit for himself.
Fourth, and the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is you, the fans, the supporters, the loyalty that you show.
He is the one, the only, the legendary Mick Norris.
I've known Frank for about 12 years now, and from day one we just hit it off. He's become a very good friend. I was so shocked when he passed away, you know. Just wouldn't have thought that would have happened to him. Such a nice guy. I've never ever heard anybody say anything bad about him. You know, his sense of humour, he had a very dry sense of humour. When he got hold of that microphone, if he was in the ring, you couldn't get him off it. He loved to chat. Gonna miss him terribly, and I think we all are.
Frank Reimer. I've known Frank for 15 plus years. He's always been good to me, always given me good advice. It was really sad to hear him pass away. I'd like to send my condolences to his friends and family at the service. Frank, thank you for the memories. You'll always be remembered forever.
On a personal note, I shall miss Frank terribly. I used to speak to him on a regular basis. He was a great storyteller, and they were legendary, as was Frank.
Frank was loved and liked by so many for so long. He had a 62-year friendship with Bill Bridges. He'd known Mel Stewart since the mid-60s and so many others. You don't have friends for that long without being a very special person. I always remember Frank as being a kind, considerate and humble man. Plenty of encouragement to the new starters in the business. He had a kindness and humility that we will all miss. They say that the last gift that someone gives you before they pass on is remembrance. And we will all remember Frank Reimer with affection and love. Thank you, Frank.
If I was to describe my dad with one word, it would be family. He spent my entire life dedicating everything he did to ensure that ours was happy and was loved. So to him, family really was everything. And lucky for him, he didn't just have one. My dad's biggest passion was undoubtedly wrestling, and through that sport, he created relationships for many, many years. And the British wrestling community stood by him, supporting him and loving him, as he did in return for over 60 years. So his fellow grapplers and his fellow opponents, his sportsmen and women, MCs, you see, to him they weren't just colleagues or friends, they were his brothers and his sisters. I was really fortunate enough to watch my father open up what is now the most respected wrestling gym in Europe. So, that being said, the British wrestling community wasn't just a community to him, it was his second family. So from one family to another, from my wife Jess, my mother Mary, and obviously from me, Frank Jr., we would like to share our thanks to you for loving and supporting my father in the way that you did. So Dad, we love you, we miss you, and you'll always be remembered.